So a couple years back on our thank you podcast that we do annually now, right? We can honestly say that.
That's true.
How many? 5 years? This will be our 6th coming up. Is that correct?
Yes,
Okay.
we've done 5.
So our 6th one will be coming up. We always kind of look for something a little more special, a little more something that could be behind the glass in a case that we would not normally buy for ourselves and share it with all of you. And a couple years ago, it was the Jura Tide and Time. We had specifically the Tide version.
I think so.
Because I think there's 2 different ones. The expressions are slightly different. Anyway, it was excellent. It was super delicious. That was one of our better ones that we've had. Most of them have all been very good. We've kind of lucked out on that. So with that in mind, I know you went to peruse at Total Wine the other day. You did some shopping there.
I did, a little bit.
And I had gone back, had some gift cards, was kind of looking around. And I wasn't looking, well, I mean, I kind of wanted that one, but I didn't want to pay for that one because that one was expensive. But I was looking at a few different things. I was like, you know what? I really like that Jura. We had a Jura Superstition a long time ago that we also really liked way, way back in the day. You can go to AboutBeverages.com, go in the archives, look for that. Might have only been a podcast at the time. Very possible that didn't have video. It very well could be. I think it might be. So you can go check that one out. But I had good memories of both of those things. I was like, you know what? What other ones? And there was a couple that interested me that were a little more expensive, that $75-ish range. And then when I looked up reviews at a couple different places that I like going specifically for whiskey things, the one that I chose today, a little cheaper, and actually they rated it a little bit higher and seemed to be like kind of the go-to. So
that's always a good thing.
As long as you're up for a scotch.
Always.
That's what we've got for this. Give it a shot. I'm Andrew.
And I'm Keith. And we are AboutBeverages.com. And the beverage that we're about today is the Jura 12-year.
Yeah. No, there's really nothing more to say. Single malt Scotch.
Nice. That was easier on me.
Yeah. 12 years. Like I said, it is aged in ex-American oak, or bourbon casks, I should say. And then it is finished in Oloroso sherry barrels.
Okay.
So there's a little bit of that. So you would think maybe a little sherry fruit, a little bit of the other smokiness and all that kind of stuff. The Juras definitely tend to be a little bit peaty, a little bit smoky, but not near as much, I would say, as a Highland Park.
You have more
when we've had those in general.
Yes.
So I was saving this for the podcast.
We were going to do this last week.
We were going to do this the other week. It didn't happen. It's totally fine.
Cancellation
Things happen.
On my part. Yeah, I know.
That last minute cancellation, though, unfortunately, my palate could not say no, and I did have something. So I have had a little bit of this already, but you have not had any. And obviously, these conversations usually bring up quite a bit more when it comes to the tasting.
A little more of an in-depth analysis.
Exactly. As opposed
Enjoyment
to me just,
plus analysis.
Exactly. As opposed to me just like swilling it while I'm playing a video game.
Right. Mindlessly swilling. An expensive bottle of scotch.
That's right.
Where'd that bottle go?
Where did that bottle finish? So yeah, let's just get right into it for sure.
So if you're here for our live streaming on twitch.tv/AboutBeverages on most Thursday evenings, you'll know that we do a little bit more analysis of the sniff. It's just not the one that you see right now in the video. And this has really changed for me a lot. When we first poured it, there was a lot. There was like some sort of almost herbal quality I had going on. I was picking up on like some caramel, some wood. There were a lot. And some of those things have pulled. They're still good, but they've pulled back. But I really like this aroma. But it's changed a few times for me.
Yeah, I would agree. Like, so when you first pour it, it always kind of hit, like when I had it the other week and I felt the same way on the first pour. It was almost like a little Korean barbecue-ish. Like there was like a little bit of spice. The smoke that was in there was almost like more of a sweet kind of thing. Like if someone had done, for me, the right amount of barbecue sauce on something, which is not slathering it, like just the right, like where there's a little bit of that sweet coming out. And the caramel, like you mentioned, and maybe a little bit of herbal from like a rub and that kind of, yeah. So I get that. But as it kind of sits, that slowly kind of keeps backing up a little bit. Yeah. But I think this is like a kind of a really interesting foray for someone if they have never had scotch before. Yeah. I'm not saying it's the most approachable because sometimes like certain people just will not like the peat or they won't like certain things that come out, but I think this is a good middle range one where if maybe they have either liked some of the other ones or if you were doing like a vertical tasting of some different things, I think this one's kind of a nice little middle ground before you get to some of the Highlands and the Lafroigs and stuff like that where they really hit on the smoke. Yeah,
because those things they're there, but they are pulled back.
Yeah,
I don't really even get that. There's usually that Scotch. I don't really get. It's little sea spray in there too.
Underneath,
yeah, it's definitely after the other stuff that's in there. But
I really like this aroma.
Yeah, me too.
To the taste?
Yep. There's the smoky goodness.
Yeah,
but it's not overwhelming.
No,
and this is going to sound weird. because
Are you sure you want to say it?
I do.
Okay.
There's almost like from a chocolate malted quality to it. And I know this is malt, the single
but no,
malt,
I know what you mean though.
but it's not. But that's not what I'm talking about. There's
That's interesting.
almost that. So it's almost a sweetness, I guess, in a way.
Yeah.
But then there's the smoky, and that's quite tasty, actually.
Yeah.
Very, very approachable for a Scotch, I would say.
I agree. That malt comment, like I said, I don't know if I'm getting that, but that's very interesting though. Yeah, a little more of the smokiness comes through. I think a little more of the herbal you were talking about kind of comes through as well. The sweet is still there. I am getting a little bit of the fruit from the sherry barrel. That's kind of like in the middle of my tongue. There's like a little bit of that kind of breaks through. But I think it's really well balanced. I think it's really interesting.
Yeah.
No, I like this a lot, and especially for something in that, I believe this was in that $50 to $60 range.
Okay.
For a Scotch, for a 12 year, like I
Yeah.
said, it's in that kind of Highland Park pricing. I think this is really good, and it's more approachable. I like the Highland Park, and that's probably still my favorite overall because that brings some other characteristics. But this has a wonderful complexity, and this will definitely be one that would rotate in with those,
Yeah.
daily drinkers. Like I said, I don't drink.
Mix it with
Scotch
ginger
every day,
ale. No, I'm
Oh
just kidding.
my God.
That's
my
very,
Buchanan's.
That's very easily, a very, very, very nice. I think, as we said, approachable, but still with a lot of good flavor characteristics in there. So that's very good. Good choice.
Well, thank you.
Good
Yeah,
choice,
no, I
good
lucked
sir.
out there because there was one from them as well that I think still sounds very interesting. It was like I can't think of a better way to say the sentence, but it was like a 7 wood. It was literally like it had been aged in 7 different woods. So they really had put the wood to it. Like, I don't know.
Old wood says it best.
Old wood says, what do I say? But yeah, like, so it was, and I won't remember all of them, but so it was one of those ones that's like, okay, is that neat or is it too overdone? And when I read reviews on it, it was kind of like, oh, it's unique, but not like and again, when I came back to this one, which is, this is their tried and true, this is their staple, this is their 12 year.
Yeah.
It was like, this one's really good. This is what they're known for. And it just, I definitely can see all of those things.
The Jura does it again.
They do. And
the Jura is not out.
The Jura is not out. That's true. That's true. The Jura was unanimous?
And Jura, yes.
Okay. And if you want to see any of the other Juras that we have done in the past, which there's at least 2 others that we talked about,
right.
Go to our website, AboutBeverages.com. You can find everything we've ever done there. Every single Scotch, bourbon, water, soda, beer, wine, all kinds of things, smoothies, anything and everything. It is all there. Recipes,
Pet nat.
stories, all that stuff. Pet Nat, apparently. Yes, that's there as well. It is all there. So go take a look at that and enjoy. If you only want the latest videos, YouTube is the place to hit the subscribe button. And if you only want audio, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iTunes, all of those things are wonderful options. If you have a favorite podcasting app that you like using, search for About Beverages. We will probably be there. And if we're not there yet, let us know in the comments down here at YouTube if you caught the video or our live show, and we'll get working on that and try and get that fixed. Which we do need to get some of the podcast link stuff fixed, but YouTube is always the best place to go for everything.
And then there's also the 3 pillars.
There is. That's true.
Yes, the 3 pillars of social media. Being for us Instagram, TikTok, and we're going to still say Twitter. That's what we like.
I feel what's going to happen in the future at some point. We'll have changed or thought we should change over to the new name, and all of a sudden it'll all come collapsing down. It'll come back as Twitter again.
That'd be great.
And as long as we stay Twitter, then it looks like all of our videos are super relevant again.
Okay.
So
all right.
I like that.
Well, they're still relevant to some extent, but yes. But those, and Twitter is the one that we use most often to keep you up to date on what is going on here at About Beverages. Like earlier this evening when I tweeted that we were about to go live on twitch.tv/AboutBeverages, which we do most Thursday evenings around 5:30 Pacific. Yeah. So when we get together, we hang out, have some fun conversations, some fun beverages, and get to chat with you. Also throughout the week, Andrew's going to let you know what he is doing in the gaming world and what he will be drinking while he is doing that. So for all the latest on About Beverages, follow us on Twitter.
But, as we always say, whether we like it or not,
You should give it a shot.